Can Chanda wish for unwholesome things? Some people may pose the question whether Chanda, besides desiring goodness, can also desire unwholesome things. People perform bad deeds because they yearn for pleasurable sense experiences. They wish to reinforce a sense of self-importance. They wish to escape from an undesirable object or state, or their general way of conducting their lives is dominated by impulsive sensory responses. When they experience a pleasant sense impression, they are pleased and covetous. When they experience an unpleasant sense impression, they are frustrated, angry, and hostile. The causes for unwholesome or evil actions are ignorance and craving, including grasping, upadana. The desire to perform bad actions thus always stems from ignorance and craving, following the principle of contingency or preconditions mentioned earlier. Chanda, on the other hand, results from understanding, from a delight in the integrity of things, or from an awareness of cause and effect. When one has contemplated things independent of agreeable and disagreeable sensations, Vedana, and independent of likes and dislikes, one sees which things are truly beneficial and then inclines the mind towards them. This inclination of the mind towards wholesome things is automatically a freedom from bad deeds, which result from preferences and aversions stemming from craving. For this reason, Chanda cannot be a desire for negative states or for performing unwholesome actions. Granted, actions prompted by Chanda may be inappropriate or wrong due to insufficient consideration or inadequate understanding. The desired beneficial results may not arise from these actions, or adverse effects may arise instead. The true agents behind bad actions, however, are ignorance and craving. When these factors have been severed, the discussion of inappropriate behavior and ways of rectifying this behavior is another subject, which will be discussed below. Conversely, people may ask whether craving tanha can desire wholesome things or desire to do good. The answer is unequivocally yes, and this is frequently the case. But the desire by craving for wholesome things is connected to and contingent on increasing pleasurable sense experiences, or on reinforcing self-importance. Normally, this desire for goodness is the function of craving for existence, bhavatanha. For example, the desire to be born as a god, to have splendor, long life, heavenly pleasures, or an entourage of celestial nymphs. The desire to be a hero, to receive praise and adoration, which will enhance one's self-image. The desire to become a stream enterer, to become great and surpass ordinary people, or the desire to be a good person, to receive honor and praise, which will reinforce the sense of self. Craving is not interested in whether the action is good or bad. It only requires that the action is a precondition for pleasure or self-aggrandizement. Indeed, because craving often desires wholesome things, people get confused and have trouble distinguishing between tanha and chanda. Interference and intrusion by craving. The confusion between craving and chanda exists because these two qualities are often intertwined, interchangeable, and interdependent. For unawakened persons, craving is an ingrained characteristic, and constantly waits for an opportunity, regardless of whether wholesome desire arises or not. If wholesome desire is absent, craving operates without interruption. If wholesome desire arises, craving surreptitiously seeks an opportunity to interfere and take over. Human beings are able to develop exceptional wisdom and virtue, and when people develop in wisdom and other spiritual qualities, craving likewise becomes more subtle and manifests in more refined ways. Therefore, when wholesome desire Chanda arises, craving may interfere immediately by taking control, forming personal attachments, identifying with an object, or creating the division of mine and yours. The arising of craving then sows the seeds for suffering and various problems. For example, when one is able to sustain wholesome desire throughout an activity, one will be gladdened and fulfilled by the goodness and merits of this activity. One's mind will be absorbed in and devoted to the activity and to the excellence it brings, and one will work with joy and concentration. But whenever craving interrupts and displaces wholesome desire, such assertions creep in like my work, my results, or my future gain. Craving may increase excitement and passion for work, but it is often followed by anxiety, with such thoughts as, what do they think of me? What do they think of my work? And how does my work compare to that of others? This then results in competitiveness, covetousness, envy, and stress. In such circumstances, people will not experience joy in their work, although they may feel pride, the conceit of craving, tanha mana, which comes from having a rival. They may hope that once they have finished their work, they will receive praise and admiration from others. But if they finish their work and people do not bestow the desired amount of praise, they suffer. And even if they do receive the desired praise later on, when this event is just a memory, they are not fully aware. If they are not fully aware, they may be nostalgic and miss the good old times of being flattered, leading to further sadness and depression. Moreover, some people receive praise after accomplishing a deed and then forget themselves. They do not purify the mind with insight. Their ego becomes inflated and they attach to this praise, giving rise to heightened conceit. They want more and more flattery and acknowledgement of their own greatness from other people, leading to aberrant, improper behavior and harm to themselves and others. Craving can interfere at any stage of the process. For example, one may complete one's work with wholesome enthusiasm, at which point craving maintains, this is my work, or else the motivation for the action may vacillate between craving and wholesome desire throughout the process. The important thing to remember is that craving creates problems at which stage it appears. If these problems are not so severe as to endanger others or to cause social turmoil, at the very least they create suffering for the person and become lodged as innate personality traits.